I saw the sign. If it opened up my eyes, I saw the sign.
Man, I was jacked up for this trip. No Mountain Dew necessary. I don't drink that shit.
Chip, I'm on jacked up on Mountain Dew.
I love that.
Took off from Charlotte early in the morning, just tired. I had been working on The Smartest Beast finale, and I was running behind because I had Lost at Home already on the schedule. So, I just keep on pushing. I tried not to put too much behind me, but keep what's in front of me. So I jumped on this plane, excited just to be able to, I guess, free my mind a little bit. I knew I was going to be spending some time in nature, and I could really just use the break. The majority of my days consist of reading old books, taking notes, and staring at computer screens. I was to the point where I was close to just spent. I wouldn't even use the term burnt out because it wasn't like I was burnt out. I still was excited about the work, but I was just tired of the monotony of note taking and reading and editing. And honestly, it didn't allow me the freedom to create because what I was creating had already been created or was in the process of being created. So a lot of times in my life, I just need to be segregated from everybody else just so I can process new thoughts and have new ideas. Because when I'm working, I'm very much focused on the project at hand. So I had been more than overwhelmed with the entire project of The Smartest Beast, knowing that I was still putting out the finale, knowing I had to get started on Lost at Home. Couple all this with me just trying to take a break and flying across the country, and here we are.
Turn me around, ain't gonna let nobody turn me around, turn me around, turn me around.
So you see this right here, I got these cool graphics. So I've been messing around with it. It's called Google Earth Studio. So yeah, it's kind of tight, man. So hopefully I'll get a lot better at this. This is my first time using it, but you'll notice the little animations. Yeah, I did that. That's me right there. So yeah, anytime I can show a location on this Google Earth Studio to show you guys where I've been, I'm gonna do that. Plus, I still got these cool pictures and stuff too. But But yeah, this Google Earth joint is tight. So I leave from Charlotte. It's 61 degrees. Feeling good, got my hoodie on, flying across the country. One of the first things I notice when I fly across the country is I see the terrain start to change once you get west of the Mississippi. So for most people, when they fly across the country, they'll notice that the land on the east side of the Mississippi is all green. When you look out the airplane, it's green, a lot of trees, a countless number of trees and greenery. But as you cross, there's none of that. Now you'll come into a few spots where you'll see some greenery, but for the most part, there's no green land out there. Almost really until you get into California. And even California, there's sparse greenery and the land overall isn't as lush. So as I'm flying across the country, that's one of the first things that I notice. Now, anybody who knows me knows that I'm a nerd. So what did I do from the airplane? Of course, I was on Google Earth, trying to figure out exactly where I was. This is after I paid for the $16 in-flight internet. I mean, bro, they are gouging you. First of all, the free internet doesn't work. If you want internet on the plane, you're gonna have to pay however much. So this is after I purchased the internet because I needed the internet. At this point, I was sending emails throughout the flight. So I just needed to make sure that all my business was caught up to and attended. So after I bought the $16 internet, my no for good reason inquisitive ass just decides to get on Google Earth and start looking at stuff I'm flying over. I didn't really discover anything special, but I did spend a lot of time just looking at little cities and earthworks, especially once you get out west, you can see the terrain change and the mountains. It's pretty cool looking out there, especially for an East Coast guy who's not used to seeing all this brown and dusty ass land. So yeah, as you're flying, and you'll fly across the country, and you'll notice that it goes from green to brown. And all of that brownness really doesn't hit until west of the Mississippi. Once you get out west, you're really gonna get brown from the other side of the Rocky Mountain watershed. There's no water coming out of there. And I have a few speculations on why that area of the country is so dry, because I don't believe that part of the country is naturally dry. But I do believe that the diverted river systems and the systems of dams that have been exploited out west has contributed to the dryness of the land. And these were all tactics used by the government. Let's just call them the government. These were all tactics used by the government to exploit indigenous people off the land as well. So not just were they trying to use dams to use water as a resource or create some sort of hydroelectricity or whatever you think that they just use dams to do. They're actually using it to control water sources downriver in order to displace indigenous people from their land. If they're used to getting this quote unquote water source that's coming in and bringing this much water, well, once you divert that water source and or dam that water source, the people who are relying upon that water source no longer have that water source to rely upon. So these are all heathenistic tactics that you can see played out on the land. And of course, they infect and affect the environment. As I'm flying, of course, now my brain goes into all these thoughts and I start the speculation on what the land would look like if they didn't use dams. And I'm extremely confident that dams have contributed to really the environmental deterioration of a lot of that land out west. So I'm just gonna leave it there because this is a subject I can talk all day about, and I'm about across the country now. So as I'm landing in LAX, I just want to say one thing. It was 61 degrees. It was 61 degrees when I Took off in Charlotte. It was 96 degrees when I landed in LA, and I was sweating. I'm talking about legit, as soon as I get off the plane, sweating. With a hoodie on. Not only that, I had a 40-minute layover on the other side of the airport. I legit had to walk a mile. So I landed LAX, I have a 40-minute layover to get on a plane to San Francisco. I landed LAX and I'm on this, I think, American ticket. I think I'm doubling up. My next flight is American. It's actually this company called American Eagle. Not the clothing company, Abercrombie face ass niggas. The actual airline called American Eagle. I think I'm on American and I see it's American Eagle. So I'm like, hey, where's American Eagle? Well, this gate 52J or something. So I'm looking for 52J and I mean, it skips over. It's like 52H and then like 52K over here. I'm like, hold on. And I'm walking between H and K. What's going on, guys? What's going on? I got a layover, and this is after I have trudged a whole mile across this damn airport. So I'm talking about I've walked at least a mile from the plane, booking it. Get to the gate. These people are telling me, oh, it's that way. Oh, it's that way. I'm like, nah, y'all not about to do this to me. Y'all not about to do this to me. If H is over here and K is over here, where the hell is J? Or whatever the gate was. I can't remember at the time. Oh, well, you have to go downstairs and down a hallway and cross the tarmac and get on a damn golf cart and catch a shuttle to another airport that's on the freaking runway. So that's what I did. Golf cart, shuttle, stairs, golf cart, shuttle, airport. I get to the airport, it's like literally like on the runway, okay? It's not like connected to the airport. I get on the airplane about 2 minutes before it's scheduled to take off, and it was not a problem because I just walked up there. They're like, oh, that's you, cool. No TSA, no line, none of that. So I get on this plane to board to San Francisco. So this wasn't a very long flight. It wasn't like flying across the country. But the really cool thing was the flight from LA to San Fran was gorgeous because now I'm seeing the California coastline, which is mountainous, which is Rockies, which is rocky shores. So now I'm seeing the California coastline, which looks totally different than an East Coast shoreline. Most East Coasters know that the shores are just sandy. Sometimes you'll get like sand dunes, which are large hills of sand. But in general, most of the East Coast shorelines are not rocky, especially once you get into the Southeast. I believe the shores get rockier the further north you go, north of New England. However, when you're down here, the shores are not rocky at all. However, when you're in the South, Southeast, anything south basically of New York, you're not gonna have any rocky shoreline. So one of the more beautiful sights to me was just flying over the Pacific in between the ocean and the shoreline so you can really see the terrain. You can see how gorgeous the land looks from afar. It's a view that you can't really see flying over the land. So I really did enjoy taking that spectacle in. The flight from LA to San Francisco was a beautiful flight. I recommend anybody take it and make sure you get the side that the land is on. Because if you're on the other side, all you're gonna see is the ocean. But you wanna see the ocean, the beach, and the mountains, make sure you're on the shoreline side of the airplane, or you'll just be peeking over the neighbor's seat all the time, which is something I did because I didn't get a window seat on that flight. So I was peeking and it was nice. It was still nice. It was a gorgeous flight. So I definitely recommend anyone to take that flight. And of course, on the way back, we made that drive down. Some crazy shit watching two planes land simultaneously. Look at this shit. There's no margin for error out here, guys. By the way, that's San Francisco. That's Oakland. Hashtag Earth is flat. So I'm landing in San Francisco, and honestly, it's just gorgeous. Beautiful day. And one of the more trippy things about landing in San Francisco is that the airport is literally right off the water, and the runway is hella short, right? So not only are you landing what looks like right in the middle of the water, as soon as you land, and I mean as soon as you land, like you've been on the runway for less than 1 minute total, there is another airplane as you are turning, because the runway is really short, there's another airplane barreling down right behind you. That if their brakes don't work, it's about to be a disaster, because that airplane's gonna hit your airplane and you're gonna hit the building. It's a whole thing over there. So that was pretty, I had never flown into San Francisco. I'd never flown into an airport that had such a short runway. And it was extremely busy considering the runway was so short, and literally planes were landing either simultaneously or one after the other. So when this plane lands, we've been on the ground for less than 1 minute, and the airplane is already turning to go wherever it needs to go to drop us off, and you can just see another plane like right behind you. Most of the time, you just land, go to your terminal, and other planes land on other runways. Other planes land at different times. But this was so unusual to me because I had never been on a runway that felt like it was maybe 100 yards long. Like that's how long the runway feels like it is in San Francisco. It's like you land and immediately you have to turn. And before you even turn, there's another airplane on your butt. So that was pretty weird. So I land in San Francisco. It was cool because I had a couple of days before I was supposed to link up with my brother and go to the nature, and I needed to work. So the first couple of days I'm out there, I'm literally just working on the smartest beast in the field. I'm staying in San Francisco. Every once in a while, I'll go out, check out the planes, check out the scenery. I was at a hotel that was right by the airport on the other side of the water, so I could literally look across the water and see the planes land, which was really cool. So, I spent a lot of time out there in between working and editing, because at that point I was just editing. I wasn't writing anymore, but I was preparing for Lost at Home as well. So there were times I would just sit out there and watch the airplanes land, get a little puff time in. Burning the late night oil, I'm on my occupational toil. Hell no, nigga. It's like 8 videos. Took me a week to get that shit. Yeah, so when I landed in San Francisco, I was basically tied up for the first 3 days, just finishing the finale of The Smartest Beast, of which I'm still working on because I extended the finale. So at that point, I had finished The Smartest Beast and I had started working on Lost at Home. Listen, I want to set the record straight. This new Kanye shit, DT already did that shit without Jesus with hotter fucking samples. So,
well, it's the same sample.
but I'm
I
saying your
just
shit,
been made it, yeah.
your shit sound better though.
I like my beat better, yeah. But yeah, I'm more upset about the fact that I'm not ever gonna get
Kanye, you're not the first.
for finding this shit.
Right. So what happens is when you hear the DaaayTrippper beat, he already used that sample. So my brother DaaayTrippper comes to scoop me up on Sunday. But before we head out to nature, because the plan is we're gonna head out to the El Dorado National Forest, and we're gonna spend about a week out there. And before we go out there, we just wanted to hang out in the town for the night. So my brother comes to scoop me up. We just hang out in San Francisco. We ride around the city. We kind of take in the night sights. We go to Twin Peaks just to get the overall view of the city. One thing I did notice, it was cold as hell in the Bay Area that weekend. It was really no different than the temperature on the East Coast, except for the air is so dry in the West, it penetrates your clothing. So it's a little bit different than the cold in the East that still has a little more humidity. That cold kind of sits on you. So I stood outside for a little bit, taking in this sight, and I had to get my ass back in the car because it was way too cold. So the next day, we're on the road, headed from the Bay Area straight across the state into the area of El Dorado National Forest. We finally get out to the spot that we're supposed to stay. Now we're staying out here for a week. We're in the mountains, but we're not technically camping. We're just way out in the mountains.
Way out in the mountains. Way out in the mountains.
Oh, and I forgot to mention, my brother's girlfriend, Jasmine, is along on the trip as well.
There's a Safeway over here somewhere.
Jasmine, when you're with DT, do people just randomly come up, especially white people, and ask him about his hair?
Yeah, all the time. How long you been growing it?
Black people do that too, though.
Yeah.
But a lot of times it's like black people that started their lives and they're like, I'm trying to get like you, Playboy.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
I'm trying to get where you at.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
Okay. Cool.
You'll never be here.
Right. Like, I don't think you can catch me.
It's impossible. It's like you don't understand time works.
Yeah. Yo, so this nigga was talking about the damn lottery in the store.
I gotta wait 5 minutes on this nigga.
Right. And you were like, no, it's like, no wonder you're playing the lottery, because you don't understand math. You don't know the odds.
He's like, you don't know how math works? Obviously.
Yeah, I've never seen a more throw your money away type of situation.
But here's the thing though, have you ever talked to a lottery nigga talking about you don't win and they tell you they've won plenty of times?
Yeah.
I'm like, nigga,
Yeah, every nigga
nigga.
Every nigga that does that tells me that they don't win a bunch of times.
What happened? Did you lose it all?
At this point.
Did you lose it all playing?
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
I've never really heard nobody like hit super big either. Like, I think the most, I feel like Henry told me he got like $300 off the scratch.
Oh, shit. I told you know my boss, my manager at Steve White won 88 million, cuz. And he played that shit every day. He used to tell me that he was gonna hit the shit.
He did.
Oh yeah, he had like a whole system and shit. And you know what? That shit ruined his fucking life.
Yeah,
I mean, he was a pretty shitty individual already.
Right.
If he
You
ever
let him get
starts
money.
shitty.
Yeah.
Oh man. That's what I'm saying. Like, he had like a wife of like, what he did was he had a wife of like, I don't know, however long, like 40, 50 years. He don't fuck around and left her on her deathbed for a girl at the dealership.
Wow.
And he bought her a house and a car, and then she ended up fucking with a nigga that worked at the dealership.
Damn, she couldn't find a nigga at another dealership.
Now she already got the car and the house. You know what I'm saying? This nigga bought her a house and a car and fell out with his whole family.
Damn.
Like, he didn't give any of his kids any money. Like, his kids are broke, but he had 88 million.
Yeah, that's terrible. He's going to
So
88
then,
million after the taxes?
nah, he cashed out for 39 million.
Damn.
Yeah, they took over half. But I saw him a couple of times afterwards. That nigga was just like, he was happy when he had the money at first.
At first, yeah, but towards the end,
This nigga was still at work. This nigga was you know what I'm saying? I wasn't even at the dealership at the time, but I had come up there to visit a couple of times.
you mean he kept working?
Yeah, he kept working. He basically, they was like, nigga, you gotta go. So we're staying at one of my brother's friend's houses. It's really cool. He's got a great view from the top of the mountain. You can see like 70 miles away. You can literally see Sacramento from the distance. It's pretty cool. But at the same time, they're having all of these forest fires.
Here is what we know as we come on the air this morning. Hundreds of thousands of people in Northern California bracing again for protective power outages as the power company takes measures to prevent downed power lines from sparking fires.
Combined, the two fires have consumed at least 27 homes with no end in sight. In fact, forecasters are calling not only for high winds, but also low humidity, creating a tinderbox.
What the fuck is a tinderbox? And how is this unrelated to swiping? So all around this area during this time, there are several forest fires and they are mandatory evacuating everyone. A lot of these places, they won't even let you go home because they say if you go home, you might end up trapped in the fire. So all of these reports are coming in about forest fires. There's a chance that we might have to evacuate. We didn't have any power. So even when we planned on staying out in nature, we were going to at least have access to the amenities that we needed. My brother's friend had a house way out in the sticks. We're expecting that it's going to have running water and electricity. It had neither, at least for the first 5 days, 4 or 5 days. We were out there. Niggas in the woods, niggas in the woods, niggas in the woods. What's your nigger wood? Niggers in the woods. What's your nigger wood? Niggers in the woods. It's that nigga DaaayTrippper. Cooking with no electricity. Washing dishes with no water. Washing dishes with no water. How you do that? Water. How you do that, son?
About to see.
Washing a knife. That's gas. So niggas are still in the business here. So, you know, we were kind of roughing it a little bit, but not really because his boy, he knows all about this. So he's got a backup generator on top of a backup generator. So although we technically didn't have running water, we had some version of electricity, which allowed us to be able to keep the light on and allowed us to be able to watch TV if we wanted to, allowed us to be able to charge our phones if we needed to, allowed us to be able to do little things that you can plug into. It was definitely a convenience considering the fact that cats were caught out in nature. So I'm out here in El Dorado National Forest, and I must say the land is totally different. It's changed quite a bit from what I saw in the Bay Area. So before, like driving between Sacramento and the Bay and really driving between the Bay and the mountains in El Dorado, you drive through like some sort of like hilly savanna type atmosphere or type environment. And this is before you really get into El Dorado. So that was pretty cool, just driving through what seemed to be almost like a desert, but you had grass that was super tall. So it really wasn't a desert, but it really wasn't a savanna in the sense that you're in Africa and the land is flat. It was very hilly, very mountainous, and then you get up into the El Dorado forest. So at some point, we started figuring out exactly how we were going to be able to take advantage of the nature. And one of the things that really just became a theme for us throughout the entire trip was rock skipping. So each spot that we ended up visiting, we would skip rocks competitively. We would literally have 3 rounds of 3 throws each. And the top throw after each round was the winner. If somebody tied, you would have a sudden death throw.
Horseshit.
So this became major. So anytime we were on the road, we were scouting locations on Google Earth, on Google Maps. We were looking for little lakes on the map so we could find a place to skip rocks. So that became something we obsessed about. Every day we're checking at least one spot. Okay, where are we throwing rocks today? So that was cool. Now, my brother had another friend that he went to high school with that actually lives up in the same area, and he is one of these nature guys. His name is Osama bin Campin. Well, that's what we call him. Actually, his name now was, hold on, what is his name? Tomahawk Isley is his new name. So my homie Osama bin Campin, aka Ben Sampson, aka Tomahawk Isley, one of my brother's friends, who lives in this area, had some insight into the best places to go to find lookouts. So it was really cool. So he actually joined in on some of the rock skipping throwing. So that was probably at some point during the trip, that became like the most exciting thing, was just going off the beaten path and finding places to throw rocks. I think that really it was something that allowed us to go a little bit further into nature than I think we would have gone, because a lot of these places that we're throwing rocks at, we have to like get off the road and like walk like a mile through the woods and do all of that. And a lot of the reason that we did that was because we were so competitive about throwing rocks. Not to mention, we just wanted to see these beautiful sights, these pictures that, when I was growing up, I used to have a World Book encyclopedia. And anybody who knows what World Book is, what they would do is they would have like California, and they would have like all the biggest cities, all their populations, and then they would have like pictures of all the cool places. And you know, you seeing all of these mountains and pristine lakes in these books, and you're like, damn, where is that? Where is that? That doesn't look like anything that I'm used to seeing. What is the name of this lake? We return back to the Silver Lake Rock Throwing Championships. We have D'Artagnan up in round 1, returning winner from the first 2 rounds. He threw an 8. He's on his first throw here. Winding up. Woo, woo, woo. Ooh, and I don't even know what that is.
How does that count? That's it broken.
I believe that's 16. That's a record here at Silver Lake. We can't count that one. It's split into 14 pieces. He threw a meteor. Let's go. D'Artagnan on the second throw. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, we're gonna go at least 8 on there. D'Artagnan, he's showing some stuff today, guys. We'll see. 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, he's walking on water over here now.
I couldn't even count them, man. That shit was going at the end, though.
D'Artagnan threw probably about an 8-bagger. All right. All right. Next up, Osama bin Campin. With his first throw here at Silver Lake with the wind. Ooh, he crosses, and he's got nothing. We threw a clunker on that one.
You pulled your last 2 to the left, man. Gotta make sure you keep it.
And he's back in it. We're going straight at, ooh, and he flopped it again.
That shit like it broke in your hand.
Yep.
Damn, come on, man. Don't get a 0 out here.
And here we go. And we got an awkward 3. I don't know how you even throw a 3 like that. So this first lake we were throwing rocks at was called Silver Lake.
We're back on the beach. We found a new place. Oh,
and that mountain behind the lake is called Thunder Mountain. And my brother drove me and Jasmine crazy with his little Thunder Mountain phrase that I'm not even going to repeat because we made him stop saying it. So maybe you'll hear it throughout the course of one of these videos, but honestly, I hope you don't.
Took off like a shark. Let's see if I can do something right here.
So,
I hit the button.
This was really the first place we started skipping rocks.
Bro, did you see that?
Yeah, boy.
Oh, y'all in trouble.
Oh, boy, look at this sumbitch right here. Look, you see this sumbitch right here? Can you see that? Oh, that's trouble.
There you go.
This sumbitch is trouble. Watch this. Oh, come on there, boy. You kind of got sideways on me. So DaaayTrippper did win the first day event of the RockSkippin. We hadn't quite figured out our broadcast format yet, but it was starting to work itself together.
Hey, which peak is Thunder Mountain? Is that it right there?
Yeah, that truck is up there. That's cool.
Oh, okay.
Hey yo, hey Jazz, check this out. Picked up a rainbow that we can't normally see.
Wow.
Okay.
I cannot see.
Is that a rainbow? I think it's a rainbow. Or is it just this? Is it the rays of the sunset?
I think maybe it's the
Yeah, it's rays of the sunset. Yeah.
Still can't see it. There goes the crescent moon.
No, we passed this shit earlier and I was thinking about it if I was a country singer.
On the net. Hold up. Niggas on the net. Gert.
Man, I didn't get that. See, that's how you fucking suckering me into the competition. I didn't get a chance to take a picture of none of this shit.
Niggas on the net. Hold up.
Why,
Oh, y'all got a competition going?
here we go.
Is that nigger on a nag, nigger on a nag? Nigger on a nag, nigger on a nag. Is that nigger on a nag, nigger on a nag? Is that nigger on a nag? We end up going to Lake Tahoe. We caught it on a gorgeous day. So we hiked around Emerald Bay for about an hour. We checked out one side of the lake because the lake is massive and very pristine also, which I really appreciate. I've always wanted to live on the water and on the lake, but with that being said, I also appreciate the lakes that are out west where no one can live anywhere close to those lakes and they're being preserved. So you really do get the best of untapped, untouched nature.
That Ron,
brother.
that Ron, he's a piece of work. Y'all already party opening up.
Actually, I just go to play Murphy this year.
They play Murphy? Did you go? Because I would have totally went. Huh?
I am still.
They got an amphitheater there?
It's pretty much the casino circuit.
Dude, I would have fucking went.
It was like Commodores, Isley
Damn!
Brothers, and
Earth, Wind, and Fire? Nah, I couldn't.
no,
Earth, Wind,
I
and
swear
Fire.
they paid
The Elements?
Murphy's one time too, though.
You know I got you dancing, Jazz.
They have their like one solo concert every year.
So we walked around the trails, and then it was time for us to find another spot to throw rocks. Cold as water. So at this point, we're about a half a mile to a mile from Lake Tahoe. We get out of the car. We hike through the woods probably for another, who knows, quarter to half a mile. And we show up at this beautiful lake called Fallen Leaf. And we're back at the Mount Talac Championship where you got D'Artagnan on his first 2 throws. Oh shit, I'm about to, damn, to trip over some petrified wood out this motherfucker. D'Artagnan, hold on. Get behind you here.
Rock selection's gonna be key out here today, folks.
Rock selections key, Mount Talac there. In the background, we see the sun at high noon. Maybe high 1 in there. All right. D'Artagnan on his first throw. D'Artagnan on his first throw. He winds. He releases. We got a 1. And I believe we're going to the judges. We got nothing there. It's just a 1. All right. D'Artagnan on throw. Numero dos. And on the release. Oh, his head's in the way, but we got a multiple. Not that many. What was that? 3. All right.
Some good scores gonna be hard to come by today.
Yep. It's tough rocking out here, guys. This ain't like the damn lake last night.
Ready?
And on the windup. Oh, distance. It's a hard 3. Oh.
Mount Telak Championship. Round 1, second competitor. We've got UB working on his form. Ooh, that looks about a 4 bouncer. He just took the lead. Mount Telak in the background.
Yeah, come on, that's it. Oh my God.
That was a great distance skip, but we're not in the distance round.
Shit. All right. Ooh, I see a nice one.
Oh, we got the quick substitution. Pinch rock.
Judges? All right.
We'll allow it.
All right. Oh, shit. Slip.
Oh!
Look at the release, my nigga.
That looked about a 6 or a 7.
6. All righty. Osama been camping. Oh, we got a clumper. Not a good start.
I got 3.
And on the windup. Oh. Tied old D'Artagnan. Going for the lead now. Going for the lead. He's going heavy on him. Oh. And we're back at the lake. Championship round. D'Artagnan's got to make something happen here, or his day is done. We've got Osama been camping and UB in the lead here. D'Artagnan on his first release.
And it was perfect. I think these rocks are too light, but whatever.
All right, catching that wind.
All right.
Okay, what's that? Looks like what's
7, didn't it?
look like 6. It wasn't no 7, boy. Get out of here. Barely 6. All right, D'Artagnan, this is the last throw here.
You say so.
Championship round. We're all going one more round. At least you tie, unless me or Osama throws a 7 this round, or 8, or anything
I'll
higher.
get another chance after this if nobody beats the 6.
Basically, let's go, man. You've been sucking all day. What you gonna do now?
That was a 6 right there, wasn't it?
I'm saying you've been sucking all day. Now it's time to dig deep now. Dig deep. Find it within yourself. Oh, and that was a nice little arcing distance, but that won't get it done today. And D'Artagnan has to sit, and the destiny is now in the hand. Oh, it's my turn.
I'm not filming a damn thing.
Aw, really? Is that what we're doing?
D'Artagnan is not filming a damn thing. Let's take a look at this. Oh my God. Oh gosh.
All right, I'll film it.
Come on.
I'm gonna be cynical jerk broadcaster until y'all don't get 7, and I can get back in the fucking running. All right. Who's the next competitor? Oh, it's this guy. He took an early lead, but he let the worst player in the field catch him. So now what are we gonna do here? Bro! Dude. Dog. I think that was 8.5 right there.
We'll go to the replay later.
That was pretty great. Oh! Dude. Dog. I think that was 8.5 right there. We'll go to the replay later.
Oh.
This guy can't even hit the fucking water first.
All right.
You're not a threat, man. Substitute me in.
Tomahawk for the war.
You've had the best rock.
Hey, man, the best for last.
He's got an alternative for him, by the way, guys. I'm about to go out there and grab that rock. You just wasted that shit. Get out of here. That's the face of a loser.
You had a good showing today, Mr. Ben Camping.
I had one good throw.
Yeah, but you know, you hung in there till the end, and I would have to say it was a better showing than yesterday.
Yeah.
How do you feel about
I
today?
got 6 yesterday, 7 today, so.
Yeah.
But no, I got 6 today too.
Yeah, 6 today.
A lot of zeros.
You know.
Oh God. And we're gonna go to the our third place finisher out of 3, D'Artagnan. How you feel about today's loss, Mr. Tanyan?
Well, you know, you work real hard, preparation all week, watch film. You know, you saw us back in the room earlier, going over the film, breaking it down.
Right.
And I thought I had my X and O's in check, man, but I gotta be honest, I think you know, I don't want to make excuses, but this injury has really got me a little bit out of my form right now, and
Goddamn excuse to me.
feels like the only way I lost was just because I got a little bit of tender soreness. Cause I went so hard yesterday to assert my dominance that yeah, I just came up a little short today. Congratulations to my competitors, well, at least the one that won, and we'll see you in the playoffs.
All right. Well, I understand about the injury there. Now, what did you think about the lake conditions? We saw a little bit of the current there coming in. Did you think that played a factor in why you sucked so hard?
You know, I couldn't solve for why. You know.
Gotcha.
I had X plus Z. It's the variables and the equations, and I tried to use the Gödel numbering theory to try to triangulate what the best method would be.
All right.
But
you triangulated that L. That's all right. Here you go. Yeah, you know, yesterday didn't go as well.
How you feel about your round today?
As expected. I mean, obviously we all got off to a slow start. I really thought D'Artagnan was going to bring the heat today. You know, we went back and looked at the film from yesterday, and he was throwing in double digits, but
do you feel like you gained a competitive advantage by watching the film with your major competitor?
I mean, I always watch film. It's available to watch, and that, I think, is what sets me apart from guys like D'Artagnan, throwing his arm out on day one. I think if there's anything he can learn from this, he'll learn what dominance looks like. And it's right here. All right.
So how you feel about your round yesterday, where you lost to D'Artagnan?
Well, to be honest with you, D'Artagnan was throwing some shit he could never throw again in his life. I mean, hell, I threw in double digits too, but hell, half the time it didn't count. So, you know, congratulations to D'Artagnan. Hope his arm gets better. He needs to rest it up. I suggest maybe going left-handed. He can't do no worse, you know.
So what do you feel about going up into the playoffs?
Well, here's the thing about the playoffs. Anybody can win at any day. Hell, even Osama bin Campin showed up. You know, Osama bin Campin could take out a D'Artagnan, leave me in the championship facing the damn bin Campin. He fucks around and throws 11, and then what? I'm gonna throw 12. You only got 3 throws in life. 3. Throw number 1, strike number 1. And on and on.
That's been the Mount Telex Championship.
Raise him up there.
Well, as we end our day, we have co-leaders in points. D'Artagnan, UB tied, 1 point apiece.
D'Artagnan the favorite going into it, obviously.
We've got Tomahawk Isley coming in at a distant third with -1. You know, he said this season he's going to pull out his new throwing technique, and it's a little rough around the edges. He's still working his way through it. So we'll see if he can show up in the losers bracket next time, because he ain't make the damn playoffs.
As I capture all of this footage of nature, I ended up capturing something I wasn't necessarily expecting. Love. More specifically, the love my brother DaaayTrippper had for his girlfriend Jasmine. Although I know at this moment she's just his girlfriend, I know that he has bigger plans on this trip. As we leave Lake Tahoe, we head back through the El Dorado National Forest to spend a few days in the bay with a few of our friends before we head to the Redwoods in Big Basin National Park, just south of San Francisco. The Redwoods themselves are a spectacle to behold. Imagine a tree the size of a skyscraper. And no doubt more sturdy. Holy shit.
No, mother's next. This grand old tree is estimated to be 1,800 years old. During the early years of the campaign to save the old-growth redwood forest, this particular tree was a popular subject for photographers who wanted to show the size and beauty of these trees. In 1902, public interest in coast redwoods led to the establishment of California Redwood Park, which is now known as Big Basin Redwood State Park, the oldest unit in the California State Park system.
Wow. This is a baby redwood. And it is soft. Like literally soft to the touch. Like you can punch that shit. That's crazy. Like it's not hard at all. It's like very, and that's gonna grow to be this bitch right there. Hey, the fuck y'all doing in that tree? Fuck out of that tree. This is a family place. You guys over here with your tree shenanigans. Bitch, look at this motherfucker here. It's hollow. Hey, so you remember when we were seeing the fires on TV and the trees were like burning from the inside?
Yeah,
that's what this shit is.
That's what this shit is. For sure. It said the fire burned for 14 months.
Wow.
What?
Bro,
14 months?
That's like
14 months and this bitch is still standing. Like, no, you're not gonna push this bitch over with a Dodge Ram, nigga. This shit is.
Oh my god.
It's a freak. Look at this. Hold on.
That's still growing.
This is stronger than your house, bro. Look at this bitch. Wow. Wow.
Yeah, 'cause I just happened to look up and I was like, yo.
All praise to the Most High.
Hello, this is so cool.
Congratulations, Jasmine.
Thank
So
you.
can you explain exactly what just happened? Because no one was there to witness anything. As far as I know, this shit didn't happen.
He pretty much just took the box out and threw it at me. It was like, you want this or not? I was like, all right.
I mean, you know, I'm a hard catch, so take it or leave it. You know what I'm saying?
No, okay. He came, we went to the mother tree.
Oh, that's the mother. Okay, so we're gonna go to the mother.
We are. And he asked, and I'm surprised. It is so pretty. I'm happy.
Give me a hug.
Oh.
Love you.
Oh, you too.
Okay, I'm done. This is the part of the trip where we are starting to head back to the East Coast. But first, we took a drive down the Pacific Coast Highway to spend a couple of days in LA.
Shit.
I saw that.
Somebody went down it.
Yeah, I see footprints.
Yeah, it goes down. Oh, there's a rope. You got a rope down.
That means you got rope back up? Fuck that. Yeah, I'm good up here. My brother goes already slipping.
It's like a nerve test.
Dog, it's so cool how that way.
Okay.
You'll be in.
Well, one of y'all gonna end up in the North Pole, and another one's gonna end up in freaking New Zealand.
Damn. I like New Zealand. I want to go.
What was that
About Iceland.
group of people you were talking
Well, no,
about?
it's on. That's the other ocean.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, that's our ocean. We're familiar with that one.
The what? Oh, Dravidians.
Dravidians.
Those guys.
Dravids.
Look at this shit, man.
Yeah. A little fall coming in on the mountains.
There's the
and
one, of
Where do you
course.
see this?
Taking a 15-minute pastry detour because this guy needs a fucking muffin.
Arizona.
What's up, man? Where's your honey bun?
I got a donut and it was fantastic. I ate it in there. Amarillo.
What's this right here? It's like a whole
Chocolate croissant.
croissant. Looks like some sort of a chocolate.
Yeah, I've seen
Okay,
that
so it's
before.
just like pieces of chocolate baked into a croissant.
That's like the only
Not like okay. Is it
That
salt?
shit is crazy.
It's not
It's an Amarillo.
creamy at all. His was cream filled.
That shit look dry as fuck, bro. And just in case you're wondering, yes, we did try to find a place to skip rocks on the Pacific Ocean, especially on the Pacific Coast Highway. Wasn't happening, Chief. Impossible. Unless you were ready to rappel down a 400-foot cliff, maybe a 1,000-foot cliff, into a beach that you would have to climb back up out of and or call a helicopter. You weren't throwing rocks down there. The scenery was beautiful nonetheless, and I'm actually glad they don't let people down there. The drive down the Pacific coast is unlike any other. Up until that point in my life, Highway 1 was by far the most spectacular road I had ever driven. The rocky coast and the crashing waves provided a landscape unlike any other. Spectacular. We stopped frequently to take up the sights. As we make our way down Highway 1 toward LA, we take a detour for some National Geographic style entertainment. What we've got here is nature's delight. Seals roasting on the shore in the dry winds of the Pacific. And of course, the duck of the sea. Floating around, looking for fish, frolicking on the shore. Oh man, the seals are deep over here. Quite deep indeed. And they are posted, boy. And they're posted, boy. They're not doing much here other than lying around like a bunch of fart seals. That's what they are. Posted. Doing the most and the least. Oh, uh-oh. Something's popping off. Oh shit. A fight is popping off in the sea. Uh-oh. We're going close. What's happening over here? Alright. Looks like there was a territorial struggle for laying quarters. It looks like Ronnie, the dominant seal, is taking over.
I got my money on slapping.
And out here we see the pelicans hunting away in the sunset in the distance. A beautiful day on the Pacific shores. We're just south of Ragged Point, California, and a little north of San Simeon. So we're taking in Mother Nature in her splendor. And a bunch of fucking cars in the background. Fucking up the nature. There's a chemtrail in the sky. A chemtrail in the sky. A chemtrail in the sky. From Mother Nature. Look at that. Look at that.
I think it's like two males fighting.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Uh-oh. Game time. And I'm there. Oh. There's no plan about land over here, boy. Oh, back to full. Ooh, uh-oh. He's. Oh, dominance. Ooh. He's asserting his dominance. And he's like, go to the ocean with your bitch ass. Look, he's pushing him to the ocean, yo. And he's. Oh, yeah. You gonna get in that water, boy. And it looks like Roscoe is the dominant here. It appears as though he's a little smaller, but definitely the aggressor here. And it looks like someone is going into the cold, isolated waters of the Pacific. As he submits at the shoreline, I will lay here, and Ronnie pushes Phil. Is his name Phil? I forgot his name. Pushes Phil further into the water. The loser.
Yeah, that's Phil.
Phil the loser. Pushed further into the cold waters.
Oh shit, it might have took a turn though. I think Phil just pulled some Tai Chi shit on him.
I don't know what's going on here.
Like threw his face in the water.
Oh man. Ooh. Dude, you fucking stink, bro. I smell you from here, bro. The fuck, man. Wish you would step back from the ledge, my friend.
Cut ties with all the lies
You've been living in and
If you do not want to see me again,
I would understand.
I would understand.
I would understand. was the burial shroud? Something about the burial shroud. The burial shroud. Later that night, we finally made it to LA. So we get a chance to hang out with some of our people before we get on the road.
Hey, it's going back down.
What the fuck is that? This is a video of some shit found outside. What is that? It looks like a fucking baby T-Rex or some shit. What the hell is that? What the hell is that? Damn, bro. All right. Yeah. Floor. Before. This is some bullshit. This nigga's like, well, you know, if you don't know what room he's in, I can't help you. What the fuck you talking about? It's my brother. Check that. Here's my ID. Fuck you. Fuck you, Motel 6. Niggas say it's like 7. These niggas ain't even got no coffee in the lobby, bro. What kind of horse shit establishment are you running here? Dog! Bruh! Nigga! They got this shit! Bruh. So according to Tony, it never rains in Southern California. That's what they say. That's what y'all say. I felt about 14 raindrops. Okay? So, y'all full of shit. More evidence of these torrential rains. Ooh. I believe those to be raindrops. Those are raindrops, aren't they? Some more wetness over here. Some more dampness. Somebody lying, cuz. I don't know. I feel like there should be some more shit in this room. For as much as this fucking room costs, you'll figure them niggas at least give me a motherfucking refrigerator, nigga. Fuck. Wow. Y'all some assholes for this shit. One of my people that I was really excited to meet was my homie Otis. Some of you may remember the video that I did with him maybe about a year ago. The video was called, "Is There Any Truth in the New Testament?" But anyway, me and Otis usually build weekly, a couple of times a week, sometimes just a couple of times every few weeks. But you know, over the past couple of years, he's definitely become one of my good friends. So this is the first time I get a chance to meet him and his family. Boy, this shit cold, cuz. Hey, bro, this shit cold. No, I haven't seen him. Oh.
Pick it up. That's a muscle.
Nah, I like a shell, bro.
I thought it was live. I seen it, though.
That's a shell. You can make this out. Holy shit. Okay. Bro, can you see that? Can you see? Please tell me you see that? Holy shit. That's amazing. So, have you ever seen, and I don't know if you can, it doesn't really come through the camera as clearly as it does in person. But like the sun looks crazy right now. It's almost as though there are two sources of light. As the airplane disappears into the clouds. We spent the day at the beach, grilling out, threw a couple of lines in the water, didn't catch any fish. A choppy but picturesque day on the beach, spending it with great people, was the perfect way to close my stay in LA. We now get on the road to head back east, but we still have 2 stops left. One in Utah and another in Denver. That shit is not going anywhere close. Okay, you just gotta work that shit in there, cuz. Work that shit in there. Body shot, nigga. Body shot.
To my father, yo, your spirit is draping me, never escaping me. I'm happy that I had you in my grasp.
We now get back on the road to head home, but we still have 2 stops left. One in Utah and another in Denver. These were the next destinations before we officially head back to the crib. So we jump on the road with over 2,800 miles left. Our cross-country trek has officially begun. And anyone who's an expert at road trips knows that you have to pass the time with some sort of interesting conversation. Me and my brother's favorite show of all time, especially since Game of Thrones let us down, is The Wire. So between LA and Las Vegas, we start discussing some of our favorite characters from our favorite show.
Kingpin answer.
Your favorite Kingpin?
Since you have your answer, but the thing is, we're going to start naming off Kingpins. So we're just going to have to give our answers. So let me think for a second. I don't want to have to say it, but I think I'm going to have to say it. I mean, that nigga's... I'm going to have to go Marlo Stanfield, bro.
Are you?
Yeah. I mean, I kind of liked Avon Barksdale.
Yeah, he's my favorite.
I like his personality, but at the end of the day, like, that nigga Marlo won.
Marlo did win. The biggest weakness Avon ever had was trusting Stringer.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying.
In the picture, Avon wins.
That's what I'm saying. That's the you like Avon, but he wasn't as smart as Marlo.
Right.
Marlo was so smart. This nigga fucking had nigga.
And Marlo was straight up fucking ruthless too.
Oh, it was ruthless as fuck.
Wasn't quite. I think that's why I like Avon more.
Yeah, you're right. And it's about our favorite. Like even watching the show, this nigga Marlo won.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I fucks with Marlo. He's one of my favorite characters on the whole fucking show. So Avon is my favorite character of the whole show.
So our planned route after we leave LA is to take Interstate 15 all the way through Las Vegas, through a corner of Arizona, and then to Salt Lake City, where we plan on spending the night and throwing rocks on the Great Salt Lake. Then from there, we will leave Salt Lake City and we will head south through the middle of Utah, hook up on Interstate 70, and we'll stay in Denver the next night.
That bitch ass nigga Stringer Bell. There's a slimy motherfucker.
Yeah, man. Yo.
Talk about a fucking scum coon.
The only thing he ever did was, and this was fucked up too, by the way. This is how slimy this nigga is. This nigga waits till Avon gets shot up and then want to tell him that he killed D'Angelo. So Avon couldn't even fight the nigga.
Right.
That's some slimy shit.
Because he's a bitch ass nigga, man. Stringer was a bitch ass nigga.
Now, I gotta say, what do you, and this has always been a question for me, do you think D'Angelo's gonna snitch, or do you think he's not gonna snitch? Avon tended to believe that D'Angelo wasn't gonna snitch. Whereas,
nah, that nigga was snitching.
You think he was gonna snitch?
That nigga was snitching.
And if that's the case, then that shit had to be done.
It had to be done. Oh yeah. Stringer was slimy before he did that shit though.
Oh yeah, nah. Well, these niggas is getting ready.
These niggas ain't playing at the fucking baseball field no more. I be talking so much shit to Raider fans.
I know.
Like
nigga,
nigga, not only
do
you play at a baseball stadium, you just play at the shittiest baseball stadium in the league.
Niggas is out here playing in the dirt for real.
Like they opened that shit in like 1958, my G.
By the pyramid and Sphinx.
Dude, that shit look cool though.
Yeah,
that shit gonna be black.
It's like the Luxor or something.
Yeah, is that shit gonna be the whole shit gonna be black?
That's what it looks like?
That shit gonna be fresh.
Yeah, that shit looks kinda dope.
Yeah, that shit gonna be fresh right there. The Vegas Raiders.
There you go. Big ass pyramid in the middle of the desert.
Roman pyramid. That shit.
I have to say Las Vegas is one of the most random places I've ever seen.
Yeah, what the fuck is Blue Man Group all about? I don't even know.
Literally in the middle of the desert, in the middle of nowhere, there's a conglomeration of shit amongst the dust.
David Copperfield. I didn't know that's how you spell that nigga's name.
How you spell it?
Copperfiell.
Copperfield.
I swear to you, that's what that shit said.
Man, that's a knockoff nigga. That's not the same nigga.
Oh.
From beginning to end, it takes about 10 minutes to drive through this place.
You know what I'm saying? He just trying to ride away. That's not.
Is he trying to avoid molestation charges?
What's the other nigga's name? That's like a nigga named fucking Mavis Blaine or something, you know?
Mavis Meekin.
Although I've never been to Vegas and only driven through Vegas, it doesn't seem like a place I would want to vacate.
When I was in jail, all your friends sucked my dick. Nigga wasn't no interpretation on that shit, nigga.
Just in case you were confused. There should be no confusion.
Oh my god. No explaining around that shit, dog.
Oh, this one I love, actually. I remember this shit. I always thought this shit was funny. From Big Pun. When you awaken, your manhood will be taken. I always thought that was a funny ass line.
What we think he's saying? I'm gonna rape you while you're asleep. I'm gonna sodomize you during your REM stage.
Oh my god. When you awaken, your manhood will be taken. I think he really meant that too, like, we fucking niggas. We taking niggas' manhood.
The drive through the desert was pretty cool. The terrain changed multiple times. One thing I noticed when driving through these areas is that we drove into ancient seabeds. As dry as it is out there, you can definitely tell there was once water in these areas. And of course, that would correspond with the mini maps that showed California as an island separated from the mainland by the Red Sea. Another thing I noticed was how the land changed colors. From LA to Vegas, the land had a yellowish, brownish tint. But from Vegas to Utah, as you drive through a little corner of Arizona, you'll notice the land turned to red. These huge rocky mountain cliffs protruded straight out of the earth. Massive canyons covered the entire landscape. Honestly, it looked like we were in another world. As we drive through the canyons, we start noticing something that was pretty cool. When we're observing the rock formations, we could clearly tell that faces and bodies and heads had once been sculpted into the cliffs. Many of these mountain cliffs resembled something that could definitely be the remnants of an ancient Egypt. Now, I'm more convinced than ever that these cliffs were once massive monuments sculpted into mountains by ancient civilizations, achieving works far more impressive than Mount Rushmore, which no doubt is a forgery and refabrication. The land didn't always used to look like this, and that was very evident. Once we crossed over into Utah, the land changed again. The mountains looked totally different than they did in Arizona and Nevada, and we start noticing green foliage again. And we finally start to see trees. Well, trees other than a palm tree. It hasn't felt like we've seen an actual tree since the Redwoods. And now these trees are growing sideways on mountain cliffs. Those roots must be crazy. In addition to the change in terrain as night fell, the luminaries look totally different. The moon looks like it's half the distance from the Earth than it does on the East Coast. It almost seems that from the top of Mount Nebo at night, you could actually touch the moon. Obviously, we're at a higher elevation than out east. But nonetheless, that moon be sitting hella low on them Utah nights.
Pulling up on that Salt Lake hoe.
The next morning, we pulled up on the Salt Lake for the RSC World Championship playoffs.
South y'all.
Turn right on State Route 111.
We out here on State Route 111. Got the snow caps in the back for all you niggas that's acting whack.
The Great Salt Lake itself is weird as hell. Even the energy feels weird. A huge, lifeless sea in the middle of the mountains defies nature.
Yes, sir. We're here in the playoff round of World Championship rock skipping.
Anytime we see a massive body of water, we just assume that it's brimming with life. But there is no life in this lake. There are no fish in these waters. No large mammals use these waters as a habitat or source of life. This water is 8 times saltier than the ocean and 10 times as stank. And this unique mixture of water and salty dead shit would make for some interesting conditions in the rock skipping World Championship playoffs. So back in LA, me and my homie Otis just happened to find a gold mine of rocks outside of my hotel. So what my brother doesn't know is that I have collected about 20 rocks outside of the hotel. Pretty much ringer rocks. And I know that these rocks will give me the upper hand in this playoff matchup.
Yeah, we're doing this. About that time. It's about that time. AOD, so check this out. I was at the damn shit outside the hotel.
Yeah.
It came across a motherfucking gold mine.
Bruh. This nigga got outsourced rocks. Judges. Judges.
Yes.
I'll allow it.
Let's go. See them shits?
I was wondering what he was doing with that fucking I seen him over there with a fucking, I was like, oh, this is putting that in the bag.
Oh gosh. This is Billy Mays Jr. and welcome back to the 2019 Rock Skipping Championships, brought to you live from the Great Salt Lake out here in beautiful Utah. Today we have our top competitors, D'Artagnan and UB, in the first round of playoff competition.
The number of the beat is 5 skips out here on this beautiful salty lake. On the 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6. Ooh. You know what? It was gliding good and it just flipped over. So 6?
We'll take 6. We'll take 6.
6. 6 in the lead for D'Artagnan.
6 in the lead for D'Artagnan.
All right, UB's back up. Let's see if he goes with his outsourced rocks or a local rock.
I'm going local for the first one.
He's smoking rocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Ooh. That was more than 8. I give you 9 on that one.
But I'm okay. We can go to the replay too.
Shouts out to Tomahawk Isley.
Tomahawk Isley, aka
He invented a new terrible technique that doesn't work. But
Osama bin Campin. This is for you, buddy.
Looks about right.
Look at the follow through though. See that?
And the ash on the leg.
I'm just to fall through.
No, no, get that.
Get that ash.
Get that.
That's that pre-warm up ankle ash right there.
Boy, that ankle is. Whew.
My nigga.
Yo, you look just like Tomahawk Isley right here.
Remember the beat is 9 for D'Artagnan. Probably around 5. Maybe.
Yeah. That was weird.
Going
His heartbeat 9.
This rock is actually from the Southern California area. Nice polish on it.
2, 3, 4.
Ooh.
Good gosh, when it hits, it kind of
Yeah,
spins.
I think it's the waves.
Yeah.
Number 2.
1. Ooh, high. 2, 3, 4, 5.
That was a crazy
That was
5
a
right there.
crazy 5. That was your championship round.
Well, I'm throwing
Another one?
around.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Woo!
I didn't see it.
It's probably like 8. Though I will. 1. No.
Rock was too light, man.
The game. It was a good day for me. Not so much for D'Artagnan, but he was a tough competitor. And I know we'll see each other again. Just want to say it was an honor to compete with such a highly just respected individual in the rock skipping game. I've got a lot of respect for him, even in this loss. He'll be back. He's a strong competitor. Thank you.
So my shoulder started hurting after surgery. You know, been dealing with this since the second round of the playoffs, and you know, it's kind of hard to maintain your level of expertise when your body's breaking down. I feel like Peyton Manning in that last Super Bowl. You know, except for I don't like a horse. But you know, everything's good. You know, we did what we had to do. Came out, we battled like warriors. Just came up a little short. It's all right. It's all right.
Remember how I said that the drive down the Pacific Coast Highway was the most beautiful road I had ever been on? Well, that was until I made the drive from Salt Lake to Denver. By whatever description Highway 1 was spectacular, the drive through Utah was equally as spectacular in its own respect. Whatever central Utah missed because it had no crashing waves, it made up for in sheer diversity of geography. Driving through Utah is like driving through another planet. From grassy to jagged mountains on one side of the road and canyons and desert on the other side, the drive did not disappoint. Being able to see mountains hundreds of miles away while simultaneously gazing at hundreds of miles of desert inspires the imagination. Never has a place felt so ancient yet new. I knew I was traveling through an ancient land, but I also knew it didn't always look like this. A major world event happened here, and you can't convince me otherwise. The distinction between states is quite apparent when you're driving in these parts. Just as we crossed out of Utah and entered into Colorado, the land began to change again. We started to creep into the shadows of these rocky, snow-capped mountains, a completely different mountain range than what ended in Utah. But now we also had a travel guide. The Colorado River was no doubt the path people traveled along in order to make sure they could make it through the Rockies. We followed the river for what seemed like a couple hundred miles. I'm not even quite sure how long. All while the river changed depth and current. At some points, the river seemed like a mild creek, and at other points, it seemed like a rushing river, impossible to cross without being swept away and smashed into rocks. And of course, you know, driving along this epic river inspired us to throw rocks one last time. I promise you, getting caught up in this current is not what you want, bro. This shit will take your ass to the Gulf of California. And we are back at the Colorado River Invitational. We got D'Artagnan up. Now guys, we are in another part of nature. We had to earn this trip. We had to climb down here to throw these fucking rocks. Had to climb down over these fucking rocks. And we're back at the majestic Colorado River. We've got D'Artagnan on his first throw here down by the riverside.
Ready?
Here we go. D'Artagnan. Double, maybe a triple on there. Ooh!
9. We'll give it an 8.
Okay.
See, I need something different.
Okay.
Not bad.
They're striking long, huh?
Yeah. Second competitor. Man, look how beautiful that water is, guys. Such an ideal, pristine setting. Oh, as he unloads his bag of rocks. Various sorts. See which one he goes with first. Ignores the ash on his fingertips. It's all good. All right.
Oh, you gotta have a little ash on your fingertips to make the rock properly release.
UB, first throw.
Woo! Let's get it in, guys.
Gotta get his footing right. Oh! Let's see who we got here. That was about a 7 right there. One behind our leader. That was a little duddy. Oh, it's going back to the stash. That was pretty good.
D'Artagnan. Kind of sloppy on that one.
You see that?
No, I couldn't even catch it on the camera. Dog, I couldn't even sit on the camera.
I might have to switch my methods, yo.
Might go for the little rocks, huh? Is that 6?
Back to his stash of rocks. Yep. Second part of round 2. UB's up. It's good. How you feeling about the conditions out here, buddy? Not bad. Not bad. Seems slightly conducive. All right. It's pretty good when I counted 6.
Oh. Yeah.
That looked like I couldn't tell.
Okay.
We have to go to the replay on that. Just count at 9. We're still tied. It actually like it was gonna do something too.
Yeah, I threw it out before.
All right, this is actually a real competitive round right now. We're tied,
9-9.
Tied at 9.
Championship round. And we need something big from D'Artagnan. Scores are tied.
Get a little pace off of this one. Ready? About a 5, but
Chop soon. Dropped it soon, chopped it soon. Okay. A little distance on that. Switch it up. You think the baby's gonna work for you, boy?
Nah, the baby would if I had the right shape. Those babies didn't have the right shape for it. Am I going decent size? I think with decent size, I need
For all the marbles.
I know, that's what I'm saying. All right, I'm gonna go decent size. And I'm gonna sling it. Right.
D'Artagnan, last throw in regulation with the 1.
5 back.
Strong 5.
Can he top the 10? If he can't top the 10, we're going single throw, sudden death. Don't have to beat the record. It's just whoever gets the most in that one throw.
All right, here we go.
Unless you score a field goal, then I get a chance to go down the field and score. All right.
Left from top.
That was a good one. That was a good one. I think he got about 7 out of that one.
Yeah, it went far.
Had a lot of distance. Each hop had a lot of distance to it. Not much on that one. Let's see what he got here. Last throw. This is for the champ. The outright. Oh, back to the substitutions. This guy. Let me see this last one. All right.
Here we go.
That looks good. Oh,
No,
took a bad hot. That's what happens when they're too flat sometimes.
All right.
All right.
Sudden death. Now this is the best part of World Championship skipping, guys. The sudden death round. Here we go. In overtime, D'Artagnan holy shit.
Let's go.
Holy shit, how many was that?
Dude, I found a perfect rock and I took the speed off of it. Focus. And we back. B's got to get at least a 9. We'll say it was a 9. I think it was a 10. But he's got to get at least a 9 on this throw. Ooh. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think it's a tie, bro.
Let's go, baby.
God.
Let's go. Double overtime. Let's do it.
Golly.
Boy, let's do it. Still alive, nigga. I ain't dead yet, cuz. Double overtime. Sudden death. D'Artagnan on the toss. He's going with the lighter.
That's what happens, man.
Is that 4?
Like 3.
3.
That's what happens, man.
So all I have to do is throw a 3 or better.
See, I think with the smaller ones, you gotta throw them a little harder. Good looking rock. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Damn. Squeeze me out.
Woo! Let's go.
So after I officially win the Colorado Invitational and the entire Rock Championship playoffs, we pull out and jump back on the road, still following the Colorado River as we start to make our way through the foot of the Rockies. One thing me and my brother did make note of, throwing these rocks on the river sacrificed at least an hour of visible daylight on our drive back, which means we would be driving through the mountains in the evening with less of a chance to see some of the spectacular views of the mountains.
Let's tap the Rockies right there. Hey man, hit it for me, bro. Hit it. Yeah, hit it.
Tap the Rockies.
Yeah.
With Coors Light.
Woo!
Tap the Rockies. With Coors Light.
That's right.
I like that was pretty good.
That was
Yeah, it was pretty good. That was one of your best. I think you've been practicing this whole trip for that song.
That was pretty fucking good.
So just like that, nigga.
It's pretty good. He actually said it better than the nigga. Pretty good. I heard that shit firsthand. Like this nigga was in
The other nigga was in the studio and everything. This nigga went raw. I said, hit it for me. This nigga was like,
Places and spaces I've been. All the places and spaces I've been. All the places and spaces I've been. All the places and spaces I've been.
Driving through the Rockies in the state of Colorado is breathtaking. Never in my life had I seen such tall mountains. 14,000 feet plus peaks were everywhere. Nowhere on the East Coast is there a peak that supersedes 10,000 feet. Nowhere on the East Coast is a peak that supersedes 7,000 feet. The tallest mountain on the East Coast is Mount Mitchell in North Carolina. The tallest mountains in Colorado are over 14,000 feet tall, which means that these peaks are twice as tall as the tallest peak on the east of the Mississippi. After we leave Denver, things got pretty much flat for a long time. Anything east of Denver is pretty much Kansas in appearance. We drove through this massive hayfield for what seemed like a full day, before finally stopping in Kansas City for some food and staying the night outside of St. Louis. Once we got east of the Mississippi, the land looked pretty much like we were accustomed to, and in less than 10 hours, we would be home. Our journey has finally come to an end at last. And although I didn't want it to end, I knew that it was time to go home. This was by far the most epic road trip I had ever been on. And it would not have been possible without the help of, first and foremost, our Creator, without whom nothing great moves under the stars. But the help of my brother was the most important influence under the stars for me on this trip. He and Jasmine have made this trip multiple times, and he was the captain of our ship. And what an excellent captain he is. Not only was our schedule well planned, he was prepared for whatever could possibly go wrong on the road. During this trip, we went through 3 tires and an endless amount of lighters, for which he was always prepared. He even had 5 gallons of spare gas in the trunk, which thankfully we never had to use. My brother held it down on this trip. He was on top of his shit. For this month of my life, he was my big brother. And I love him for being such an important part of this experience. Jasmine, no doubt, has a man she knows she can count on forever. And I want to thank her for putting up with all of my purposely terrible jokes. Am I right, Jasmine? Am I right? Am I right? And finally, I want to thank all of you who support my labor. Without the inspiration, love, and encouragement from you, none of this would have been possible. In a way, this was a personal gift from me to you. I wanted to share a part of who I am with you on a personal level, just so you know that I love you like you love me. Until next time, 2 pats to the chest, 2 fingers to the sky, all praise to the Most High.
we returned to the beach. We're back on the beach. We found a new place. Oh,